All right, Thursday, 4th of May, 2023. I've grown a beard. Jason shaved it all off. Something's going on. What is this a leading indicator here?
Leading indicator of what?
How we're feeling. Uh,
Yeah.
how you been?
Yeah, I'm all right, man. Haven't been trading too well for the last month, but I had a good start to the year, so you take what you can.
Nice. I think watched I think a video a week or two ago. You were in that long spoos and S&P and Dow.
I'm just long Dow. I was
Oh,
long
long Dow.
booze for a while. I got stopped out of that, but I'm long, just long Dow.
Long the buying the
Ain't working
quality.
right now.
Yeah, it's
I'm
looking like
probably
a
going to
deep
be
pullback.
stopped today, so just
Right.
if it keeps doing what it's doing here, I'm going to get stopped today. So, and
What
then
were you
I'm
thinking?
going to have nothing on, which I'm actually
Sure.
looking forward to.
So, certainly a couple of the guys in the room here were thinking of you this morning, and certainly last night there was a lot of mention of, right, well, if this is the pause, surely markets are going to want to scream to the upside here. And we definitely did not get that. And we are not getting that here.
I mean, is it a pause? I don't know that it's a pause. My feeling since way too early last year, I started talking about it in like, I don't know, August or something, was that the market was going to go up until they paused, and once they paused, it was going to stop going up. Um, and I was
Yeah.
thinking that they were going to, when I was talking about that, because I was thinking they were going to pause in October, November, which clearly was completely wrong. Um, but I still think that that's kind of the play. Once they pause, it's over.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
market will discount in the pause the whole time, and then it's the sell the news event. So I don't know. Did they pause? Is that what they said? I didn't hear
It,
that.
it no, well, I think because they withdrew that sentence about, well, what was that?
Yeah,
I can't remember. They withdrew that sentence from the statements. Then the market like
yeah,
instantly, rallied at 7 o'clock our time.
yeah.
Bit of a rally, and then it came into the speech, and then it was like,
Yeah, it
hold on
didn't
a
last too
second.
long. Yeah,
And then Mike McKee asked him. He said, "What do you think about these rate cuts getting priced in for the rest of the year?" And he just took out the big old bat there that we
I
are
mean, I
not
don't
thinking
get it.
about cuts.
That to me is the most interesting thing in the market. You know what I mean? Like, where are these people getting that there's going to be rate cuts? Someone was saying this morning there's like a 50% chance of a rate cut, like in July or something.
I'll tell you exactly where it's coming from. It's coming from JP Morgan. They came out this morning. I put this in our room. I couldn't believe, what did they say? JP Morgan's Davis says, I see the Fed cut coming as early as September, right? And
So
then
the whole world
David,
trades on what JP Morgan is saying?
and then he said, this is definitely the end of the hiking cycle for the Fed. All right, well, fine. Maybe it might, I wouldn't say definitely, but I'd
How
say
could it
maybe.
possibly be definitely? Like,
Uh,
I don't know. I just
I
don't
don't
get
know
it.
either.
And if it's the end of the hiking cycle, that's fine. But the truth is, the Fed has been pretty transparent this whole time, right?
Hmm.
And they've said higher for longer. Like, just because you stop hiking, I mean, does that mean you start cutting? I don't really get it.
I don't know, man. I just shoot what's in front of me, you know?
No, that's right. That's the whole point, really, right? I don't know either. Everyone loves to talk about this shit, and all I ever tell them is I got no fucking idea. And then they look at me like I'm fucking crazy.
And the one person who who does know is Jerome Powell. He's probably the only person that knows. And the market, all the talking heads just don't want to listen to what he has to say. They
Yeah.
try to price in some other crap. I don't know.
Yeah.
What's the
Yeah,
trade, man? What's the trade?
I do not know. I'm
I
honestly
always
telling you,
say,
I
listen,
do not know.
talk is cheap. What's the trade?
Yeah, I
What's
honestly,
the trade?
I just don't know. I am so light here. I have one trade on, which is the long Dow. It's half my normal size, and I'm going to be stopped out of it today, it looks like. And I'm not going to have anything on. The trade I'm looking for is dollar, you know, short
Yeah,
euro, short pound, short gold. That's the trade I'm looking for. But and long
and
stocks, but if I get stopped, I'm stopped. It is what it is. But um, those are the trades I'm looking at here. And I'm
it's a
trying to
tough
pick,
trade on the dollar right now, though, man. I mean, it's
it's always a tough
yeah,
trade. I mean, I'm trying to pick turns. It's always hard. But
yeah,
it's become so universally hated that that's when I start to look to go the other way. Doesn't mean it happens today. Doesn't even mean it happens in the next 2 months, but that's what I'm looking for. I'm
yeah.
trying to read for when to do that. And right now I'm just so not reading very well that I'm not being aggressive at all.
And I mean, on the Dow, were you going off of the COT? I mean, how much of a
Yeah,
factor
all my
was
shit
the
goes off for
COT in
this.
there?
Everything I do goes off for the COT.
Okay, all right. So what? So just to kind of flip it over a bit here, I mean, oil. What the hell? I mean, I try to pride certain amount of my trading ability on trading oil, and it's my kind of go-to product. But I just can't make head nor sense of this, and I actually couldn't see the COT data on oil, but it's
It
a
has
mess.
them a little long, not massively long, but a little long. It doesn't show any kind of signs of, any tradable stuff and all based off of COT to me. So I have not been trading oil. The best trade I've seen in oil was my boy Dan Nathan,
Oh yeah,
who got short oil right after, that OPEC thing.
oh yeah,
And he had his stop in. Um, I mean, I watched it and he got stopped almost to the high tech.
oh
And the
god,
thing has just collapsed since. So, uh,
jeez, yeah. I
yeah,
mean,
and he
I
sets himself up for that kind of stuff all the time. So that was the only oil trade I could have made, and I did actually very small just to fuck around with it. Was when he was shorting it, I bought some, and like literally 1/10 of a position for me, and then just to fuck around. And I got out of it right when his stop got hit. So I don't know what I made, $2 maybe on oil, just fooling around. $2
yeah.
on a 1/10 size position just to kind of fool around. But
Well,
that's the
two
only
bucks is
oil
good,
thing that
man.
I've gotten involved in, just as a way to fade this asshole. Um, other than that, I don't I don't know, man. Again, what's going on? I assume that they're pricing in recession at this point. They're pricing in huge demand, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Right.
Sell in May, go away.
I think
I,
that's
ne- I
probably the best idea. Yeah.
I never ever give that like one bit of credence, but I suppose
But it
that's
always
what we're
seems to
seeing.
work.
It always seems to come through. It's just not a tradable concept to me.
Yeah.
What's the entry, So
Yeah. I mean, I'm going to be forced today to sell. It is May, right? Yeah. In May. And I'm going to have zero on. So I might as well go away. I'm not going to wait till June. I almost made it to Ireland, but I didn't.
oh, you should come. You should
Yeah.
come.
I mean, my son is on
Stick some beers in the fridge.
my son is on some kind of he goes to maritime college, so this summer they all have to cruise some ship across the ocean, and one of the stops is Ireland, and we were going to go, but my
Oh,
wife, her work, she isn't off that week that he's in Ireland, so we're going to Spain instead.
oh, nice.
Vigo,
Whereabouts in Spain?
I've never heard of it, but Vigo,
There you
Spain,
go. Oh,
somewhere.
never
It's
been
right,
there.
it's right near Portugal or something.
Yeah,
But yeah,
Spain,
almost made
incredible.
it to Ireland. I was thinking about you guys. Figured if I got to Ireland, I could come pop in. But
Too, yeah, yeah.
yeah, it didn't happen. But we'll get there eventually.
We'll stick you on a horse as well. after you go
I
to the
don't know if
pub.
that's a good idea.
So this is the gone fishing sign about to go up on Jason's office store. Is that right?
I mean, I'm going to be forced to go fishing because I'm going to get stopped out here. And then I just have nothing on. And then, the other things I'm looking, like I say, short gold and long dollar, just
Mhm.
hasn't given me the signal yet. So, you know,
Are you positioned or you're not positioned in gold? I think that's I don't know. Actually, I saw in your room there was some pretty good analysis for extremely bullish gold up at like 2,500, $3,000. You know,
1 second. Hello. What's up? I don't know, dude. I'm in the middle of a call here, but I'll call you back. I know. God damn, this fucking kid calls me every day with another fucking insurance fucking idea. Yeah, God forbid. I bought one fucking thing of life insurance from him. Now he calls me every day. Just call, hey, we have your car insurance. I'm like, okay, bro.
wow.
Anyway, what were we saying?
Gold, super bullish. But it seems pretty crazy though. $3,500 bull case this year for gold. I don't know. I think the wheels are just gonna have to fall off. That'll be your dollar trade to the upside
I don't
and
understand
gold
why the
up.
gold people, gold bulls to me, they never say gold's going up 10%, gold's going up 20%. Gold, they never say that. It's always like gonna triple, you know, this year. It's always gonna triple right now, you know.
Because it did once in the
Um,
90s or
so I don't know. I've
late
been trading
80s.
it. I've been trying to trade it short. I sold the spike yesterday, got out at flat. I sold the spike last night. I got out about an hour ago. Um,
Mm.
but it's just not working, you know. So, I start with like a small position and then try to build it up, but it hasn't allowed me to build anything up. So, I've just been
That,
kind of trading it and getting out of it.
that's kind of interesting how you would build up on the position. I mean, you just working against levels, or you kind of yeah working
No, I
against
mean, I'm
levels,
looking for
or
like this news failure thing.
use failure. Okay.
So if it spikes, and I think that there's a chance that there's a news, but I'll sell a piece so that I can just get a better entry if it does end up, kind of news failing on the day. Um, I'll sell like 10% of what ultimately I'm going to sell, but just to kind of get a better entry. Um, so I've been trying that and it just hasn't been failing. So,
So was okay for me last night. That was a pretty big news failure,
what
especially
was?
when Mike McKee asked him about, well, a news failure that, okay, there's a lot of potential for this now to be the pause and then price into potential cuts for next year or whenever they might be, and market goes down.
Yeah, you're probably right. I mean, I'm not set up to get short stocks and I can't get short stocks. So I can't trade that news failure, but I could certainly get out of my long, as it turned out I should have. But I will be getting forced out, like I say, 10 times today anyway. So yeah, I think you're probably right. I personally cannot be short stocks here.
From having
Doesn't
done
mean they can't
the
go down, by the way. I couldn't be short. I remember it was some point last year. It was kind of a very similar setup to what we had now. Um, I don't remember if it was August. Yeah, it was August. I couldn't be short stocks in August either. And the SPOOs went from like 43 to, 36 over like 2 months, right?
oh yeah.
And I didn't see any of that. I was actually long, and I got stopped, and I got stopped as it turned out pretty well. But I got stopped, and things continued and went straight down. That could happen here too, just because I try to tell people this all the time. All these guys on my Discord want to think I'm like some kind of magical fucking guru, and I'm like, dude, I'm not that. You know what I mean? I don't see the future any better than any other human being on earth. Maybe I like to think that I
Uh,
deal with risk management better than a lot of people, and maybe that's why my returns have been good, but it has nothing to do with me seeing the future. Just because I can't get short on my process doesn't mean that the market can't crash. It can,
Yeah,
right? It's going to crash
sure.
without me. Markets, everyone pays attention to the stock market, but markets move all the time that I'm not involved in. you know,
Yeah,
so the stock market is just another one of those markets that I happen to trade, and it can certainly move without me.
sure, sure. Yeah. Well, I mean, I feel like I've done the summer intensive Jason Shapiro School of Trading, just a quick course. And last night I was definitely like, all right, this is news failure for sure. Especially, and he's pretty much saw come on the comments there about the cuts, and that was enough. I'm swinging short on the DAX again.
I
Uh,
think the real
uh,
move was the reversal day, which was Monday.
with the short
Monday
side.
when the stock market closed down.
Oh, hold on,
Um,
what do we got?
it was sort of like what the hell is it? Why did this thing reverse today for absolutely no reason? Well, now we're finding out why, because
Oh,
it
you
turns
mean
out,
Tuesday?
was it
We got a
Tuesday,
bank. We got
Wednesday,
a bank
Thursday,
holiday
Friday,
here.
Monday? No, I had it
Tuesday.
Monday. I have it Monday, Tuesday,
We
Wednesday.
had Monday.
So now
We
we
had a
know
big.
why it reversed, because it was about to drop, 180 points or whatever on the S&P. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, I think that you're right that yesterday probably should have been bullish and it was not. So to me, we go into neutral territory here, and we wait. And I could use it because I've had 4 fucking complete shite fucking month, 4 weeks of complete shite months here. So it's nice to get forced to back down.
I think. I mean, looking at your stats that you were talking about there recently. I mean, what are you done? 20%,
At a
30%.
1% risk. I was up coming into April about 13%, which is huge for me for a quarter. I don't do that. That's like a year for me, right? And then
Yeah.
April I was flat, and then this month I'm down a good, I don't know, 1.25% here. So I've given a little bit about back, but to be expected.
Well, you got 2 more quarters left to go. So,
Yeah, it's a
I mean,
long year, man. As long as you stay alive,
good fishing time of the year right now. Don't you?
Yeah, no, I'm happy to trust me. I'm
Yeah.
so stressed these days, fucking man. I just lose money every fucking day, More than happy to have them all stop me out of everything, and then let's refigure what we're gonna try and do here. Let's wait, let's go back, and let's wait.
What do you think about the banks, man? I think this is just. I think the wound has just gotten infected, and it's going to go gangrenous
How
by
can it
the end
not?
of it.
I don't understand how it can't.
Right. I think that's your dollar trade for sure.
Is
That is
that good
definitely
for the
your dollar
dollar?
trade.
Is that good for the dollar? I don't know.
Well, it's run to the risk asset. That's how I'd be
I
looking at
guess.
it.
I mean, I don't know how half the banks can't be out of business by this weekend. Again, I don't think I'm any different than anybody else. Within the last, whatever, 5 weeks, I looked around, and you don't always have time to deal with this shit. But at some point, I looked around, and what happened was I had that good first quarter. My clients pay me quarterly. So I got like a big check into my business account, right? And I'm like, well, I'm not going to let this money sit in a fucking checking account, you know? And I went to the bank and I was like, can you put this in some kind of savings account or whatever? And they offered me like 2%. And that's on a savings account that gets taxed. So I'm like, why the fuck would I put this shit?
Why would you do that? You
Yeah.
get 4.5% on a 6 month note.
And that's exactly what I did. I
Well,
moved
there
that
you
money,
go.
and I moved that money out of the fucking bank, and I bought a
Into
one
your
year,
Schwab.
and I bought a 1 year fucking note, you know?
What you get on the
So
1 year? 3.8.
it was somewhere around there, yeah, a little less than 4, but that's tax
Yeah.
free too. So like,
Yeah.
how is every single human being not doing that? And I think that they are, you know. So
Yeah.
I don't understand how everybody hasn't already pulled their money out of all these banks, because I just did. I left enough money in there for my business to operate for 3 months, which doesn't take a lot of money, I can tell you, because I have no operating costs, So I don't understand
Yeah.
why anybody would have money in these banks at this point.
It's a lot of risk. Something like 11 billion pulled out of UK banks over the Silicon Valley bank crisis. That's a lot of money in the UK.
Yeah.
Um,
So I don't see how that possibly ends. You know, I just
you
don't see
get
how.
good dividends out there as well if you wanted to, get your yield.
No,
Bit of
that's true.
Petrobras, 43% yield. Better
Yeah, that's
than
true.
your 3.8 on the note.
Really?
And you could get some growth. Yeah, it's crazy yield. Um, or you could go with some like pipeline companies. They do about, I think sector average is like between 8 and 11% on the yield on like Plains American Pipeline or any of those guys. And
Right.
they're safe as houses. Those companies have got pretty pretty strong, predictable rev. But yeah, I mean this. I don't know. I think by the end of the summer, the shit will have hit the fan. The dollar
End
will
of the
be
summer.
crazy.
I think by the end of this fucking week.
Really? You think it's that bad?
I mean, look what's going on today.
No, I think it's going to be the death of it. I don't think this is much of a day. We're only down 0.7 on the Dow here, man.
Oh, you're talking about the stock market. I was talking about the banking thing.
Oh, the banking? Well, the banking thing. I don't know. I haven't KRE. What's it doing?
Hmm, Down
Yes, down 6.2 here.
6%. Not bad. Making
That's
new lows. I
great.
mean, that thing never bounced, right? The market has been telling you the whole time, right? Even after that whole SBB thing, the carry never even tried to bounce.
Yeah, I think the long tail, like the gangrene set in point, is when the talking heads start talking about the retail, the retail and commercial, like basically the commercial real estate loans souring, or people getting, we were talking about it here actually on Tuesday, was that, if I think a lot of these regional banks are going to be sending out the letters to their sort of commercial loaners, right, debtors, saying, hey, the Rome is on fire here and we need to call in the money. And we don't give a shit if you're not finished developing your apartment block or whatever. We just want the money back right now.
I mean, like I say, I can't be short the stock market because of my process and what it tells me, right? But if you really
So
want to
could we
get
dive
into
into
this,
that?
but if we
Press
really
you
want to
for a
get
little
into
bit of
this,
detail.
well, I mean, the COT just shows people way too short, so I can't be short, right?
Okay.
And the CNBC and everybody's bearish, so I cannot be short. That's not where the risk reward is to me, so I can't do it. Don't have to be long, but I can't be short. But if you really want to get into all these ideas, I mean, maybe what people are missing is that they ain't fucking bearish enough. And if that's the case, I think what will happen, and I've been talking about this, is that because I'm like, what's going to get these shorts out? And it'll be one of two things to me. One is the market will squeeze up and force them out. Okay. Or two, the
Yeah.
market will come off and they'll buy into the dip, right? Which we've seen before. We saw that after COVID, they bought into the first COVID dip and then the market crashed. So
Yeah.
maybe they'll do that, because to me, you really want to make the bearish argument. It's extensive. This country is fucking going to hell, dude. If you ask me, I was just in New York the other day, right? You look at what's
Yeah.
going on in San Francisco. San Francisco's falling into the freaking sea, dude.
Yeah.
All the fucking companies are pulling out, all the
Yeah.
department stores, they don't even want to be involved anymore, right? And it's not just San Francisco. Chicago's a complete fucking shithole, right?
Phoenix as well. Used to
Right.
be a beautiful city. It's
All
getting
these cities are
crushed.
shitholes, right?
Yeah.
Seattle, where my brother lives, is becoming a he can't even, he doesn't even go to his office. He has an office downtown. He doesn't even go. He says he has to step over 20 homeless people to get into his door, right? And he doesn't want to
Yeah.
deal with it. So he just works out of his house. They're shitholes, and it's consequences of horrible policy, right?
Sure.
So, you know, I think that they're all going to be on fire. There's no the rule of law, like in New York, for example, they have like alternate side of the street parking in New York, Monday and Wednesday and Friday. You can't park on the left side or whatever,
Yeah.
that's gone, dude. People don't even pay attention to it. They just park. They don't give a shit because it's not being enforced because they can't enforce it. There's not enough people to enforce it. And like even like the pot thing in New York, and this is just indicative to me, but they passed a law to make recreational marijuana legal in New York State. Okay, that's
Yeah.
fine, but they have not gotten around to passing the laws of how that's going to work. Right? You have to regulate the dispensaries, and you have to do all this shit. Right? So they haven't
Right.
done that. But no one gives a shit. On every corner of New York, there's a store selling pot, right? And they're not doing it legally because the laws haven't been passed, but they don't give a shit because there's nobody enforcing anything, right? And I'm not against it. I'm all for legalizing pot, but
Like in
my
California,
point
you
being,
can't get
what's
it.
next? You know what I mean? Like no one gives it. There's no rule. The rule of law to me is just being abandoned. That can't
You
be
can't get
bullied.
arrested for shoplifting either in California state
No,
now.
that's the other thing. Like, what is that, man? They just loot all
So
the
it's
fucking stores and no one gives a crap. Like the
just,
rule of
yeah.
law is going away quickly, and there's nothing that
Jeez,
can be
man.
done about it. So to me, this
God, I
place
think I might
is
increase my
done.
shorts here.
I'm I'm so glad that I live up here in the country, and like I always say, by the time that the mass mob gets to where I am, um, it's not going to
You're moving
matter
to
anyway.
Ireland.
Yeah, if they get up here, then it's not. There's nothing you can be able to do anyway.
Wow,
Coastal
man,
City,
I'm feeling
Providence is an
so.
hour.
I'm feeling very refreshed about humanity here. Are you available for parties?
I'm just saying, when people want to get into the bearish scenario, you know what I mean? It's like
Yeah.
I can be much more bearish than anybody that you'll ever meet, because you get into the financial side of it too. How are they going to backstop all of these banks? I don't understand. They don't have any fucking money. They're going to print more money again. Then what? How are you going to print more money again? You've just spent a
Well,
year
they
and a half
just
trying
did
to
it.
stop inflation. Now you're going to print money again. You're going to be forced to print money again. And then what? Well, what the fuck, man? And at some
That's
point, I think
yeah.
market wise, I've been saying since when I first got bearish, which was what, late 2021, and I was trying to make the exaggerated bearish argument, but the exaggerated bearish argument is exactly that, right? If they have to start, and what will happen to me is
They're
the
gonna have to print
stocks.
more money.
Yeah, so stock, and that's all fine until it's not, right? Until the market rejects it, right? There
I
is
don't see
not.
how they could do it again. How the hell are they gonna if okay, say we go down 10% from here on S&P or Dow, whatever, right? 10% down by Friday, okay, or by tomorrow, right? Which I don't think is going to happen. But say we go down 15%, right? The world goes to shit. Something happens. So what are they going to do? They're going to pause rates. Maybe they could have an emergency cut. That's not going to save. That's not going to
They have
save
an
anything.
emergency, but I think we wake up the next day and the market's down 40 fucking percent, dude. That's what I think.
Well, here you
And,
go.
and,
Yeah,
and this is a guy who can't be short. They do an emergency cut. It's going to be panic on the fucking streets, man.
they got no credibility by doing that. So then
None.
if the banking crisis, which will get really worse, if it gets really worse, there's 147 banks in the KRE index. It's down second day in a row this week, 6% down. Right? It's trading 35s. I don't think this will end until it trades 10s.
There's
Okay.
not even going to be a fucking KRA index when this is over,
Yeah.
dude. There's not.
But like,
35. It's going
what
to
are
be
they gonna?
trading zero.
What are they going to do? What's the Fed going to do? They're going to be leaning hard on the SIBs. So that's Morgan Stanley, Goldman Sachs, and all those guys, right? They're going to be leaning on those guys saying, "Can you buy this shit, please?" and just absorb it on the books. And at some point, the SIBs are going to go,
Fuck you.
"Fuck
That's
no."
what they're going to
Yeah,
say. Why would you
we're
buy?
sick of
Why?
eating
Why
this
would I
shit.
buy this? Why? Why?
Why? Yeah, exactly. So
We were
then
talking this
they
morning.
stop.
Warren Buffett is sitting on how much freaking cash, right? This is a guy that knows, say what you want about him. He knows a little bit about value, right? He's not looking to buy a single one of these freaking things. And he's sitting on billions and billions of dollars of cash that he wants to put to work. And he's not talking about buying a single one of these companies.
Well, apparently there was a whole slew of private jets from a lot of the CEOs of these banks in Omaha there, like about 3 weeks ago. I think it was the week after Silicon Valley Bank. A whole load of these jets have flown in and were parked up on the runway in Omaha, small little airport by Warren Buffett's house, and apparently they were all going to see the Oracle. He was,
please give us money. And how much got done? Zero. He bought none of them.
Zero. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So there's clearly no value in any of these things, because if there were, he'd be buying, right? So again, what are they going to have to do? They're going to have to print money. Did that work last time?
They're not good. Are they really going to do that?
I've written about this before, but did that work in 08? Yes, it worked in 08. But in 08, it was a brand new thing. And I was in a hedge fund at that time, a big hedge fund at that time, and nobody thought it was going to work. Therefore, it kind of did. This time they're counting on that to save everything. And it's not, I just don't think it's going to work. What happens when the market?
But they already just did it, man. They already just did it. They printed 40% more dollars than were in existence in 2020.
Yeah.
They added 40%
there has to
supply.
Be. I don't know.
What are they going to do? Add another 40%?
No, I know. I'm saying, I don't know what it is, but in everything in the world, as we know, there is a limit, right? It's just physics. There's a limit. What is the limit to how much money they can print before the market just rejects all that? I don't know the number, but there is one. And when we hit it, what will happen to me is they'll print this money, the dollar will go down, the stocks market will go down, and the bond market will go down. The world will just say, fuck you. We're not taking any more of these dollars anymore. You've gone over the limit. And when that happens, you got to watch the fuck out. Because that's it, man. That's it. When the US dollar gets rejected, right? And it's Zimbabwe, you can kiss the freaking baby, man. You can kiss the baby. And I don't know where that is. I don't know if we're a week or a year or 20 years away from that happening, right? But it feels more like a week than 20 years to me, because they're being forced.
Really?
Well, I mean, look what's happening. They're going to be forced to print dollars. Is the market going to accept that? Is the market going to say, oh, it's okay, they're bailing us out again, it's all going to be fine, this is 09 all over again? Is that what they're going to say? They might say that for a day.
I suppose they do print dollars by issuing bonds. It's kind of by proxy, issuing the bonds, they're kind of issuing dollars. It's just you don't see the dollar. But that's
what they've been doing for years. They issue bonds, and who buys them? They buy them.
China.
No, they buy them. The Treasury issues bonds, and the Fed prints money and buys them. That's the biggest Ponzi scheme. That makes Bernie Madoff look like a freaking child, dude. To me, that's the biggest Ponzi scheme in the history, maybe, of mankind, right? And I talk this about people, and have been talking this about a long time, and they look at me like my head's on sideways, because they don't, doctors and lawyers and whoever, they don't understand what any of this freaking means. I didn't take classes in economics, but I'm like, dude, it's very simple, man. They're issuing bonds. It's just like if I owned a printing press and I just printed money and lent myself money, printed money, lent myself money, printed at some point, no one's going to take that money anymore, right? And I feel like when that happens, it doesn't happen slowly. It happens tomorrow. You know what I mean? Like one day, bam, they say, okay, fuck this, Shapiro. We're not taking your printed money anymore. So I do believe that day is coming.
Maybe I don't know, man. Look at this. Look at this. Major foreign holders. The Japanese can't get enough. China can't get enough. In the UK, fair enough.
How does that I don't know the answer to this before I ask it, which you're always supposed to, but how does that compare to the total outstanding Treasury securities?
Well, Yeah, I mean, I don't know. That's a good question. Let
How
me.
much does the US own of that is what I want to know. Like, I feel like they've been the only buyers of this shit for the last 5 years. I don't know that that's true, but I just feel like they're printing money and buying their own debt. It's a Ponzi scheme. I mean, I don't know what those numbers were, but it'd be cool to look at them compared to the total outstanding.
I'm trying to US out by type. Oh, yeah. Well, you're talking by a magnitude of 12x what the highest foreign.
So the
So
highest foreign was Japan.
Japan with a thousand billion, whatever that is.
Yeah, like
And
the numbers are so stupid. I can't even calculate them anyway.
I don't know. Yeah.
But
But if I pull up the US here, hold on. It's there it is. Let me share this again here. Here we go. Let's share this again. This is kind of interesting actually, but yeah, it's about 12x.
12x, 12x Japan. So it's probably what,
Yeah.
7, 8 times that total foreign holdings if you add them all up, I guess. I'm just guesstimating
So
here.
there, so you got Japan here at whatever 1104, China
Right,
859,
right. So
and
those other
then
guys probably all add up to maybe twice Japan or something like that. So it's
just
still,
on the notes alone, it's like 13,751 just on the notes, and it's another four call it on the bonds, and
no,
it's so
that's
I mean
that's
that this
14 and 4 is 18 and another 4 is 22. That's 23. And these guys add up to like 1, 2, 3, maybe 4. Yeah, so it's 6 times more than this. So that they still got to find 6 times more of someone to buy all that shit. And that number's going up, of course, because they're printing more, right? They're borrowing more. It's going,
right.
like I say, is it tomorrow? Is it in a month or is it in 10 years? I don't know. But it's going to have to end. There is a limit to everything in history of the world, including how much money the fucking United States of America can print. Right? It can't
Yeah,
be unlimited. There's no such thing as unlimited, So
KRE down 7, pushing 8% down here.
yeah, this shit's
Fuck.
not looking too good, man. It's really not looking good.
Dow is now doing 1% negative.
Yeah.
Western Alliance down 30%. Yeah, I mean they're all in the shit bag here. I mean I could only imagine what the rest of them are doing. Western Alliance is probably the next one to get the FDIC tap. But now there's like three or four really that are going to be getting the FDIC tap on the shoulder. Um, yeah, yeah. What's the dollar doing? I mean, the dollar's up 0.25% here. Euros down, yeah, 0.5%. Tino, I'm long T notes here, or sorry, I'm long buns. I do like a good old fashioned risk off trade, so short backs, long bond here. What are you seeing on the bonds? You're not interested in buying some bonds, no?
I had a really good trade in bonds
On
earlier
the
in the
2 year?
year. No, I was in the 10 year.
Yeah.
But yeah, I caught that really nice from that fucking March, from that March low all the way up. And I got out up there
Nice.
and now I'm neutral. I'm neutral. So
Right.
I'm now neutral, all that shit. Um, and I'm just sitting here waiting. It doesn't feel, usually when I get these sort of all my trades are sort of picking turns, and usually I get a feel for, yeah, this seems like the right time, and it just doesn't feel like the right time. Although the euro is puking here, but it just doesn't feel like the right time to me. Gold, none of it doesn't feel right to me. So I'm just gonna sit back and wait until
It
it's
was
right.
fireworks, man.
Yeah,
But
it's no different
we're
than the
gonna
conversation we just had. Now I'm even fucking more bearish, and I don't want to be near anything.
one of the guys is asking they're curious about your being bearish on gold with all this talk. What? So yeah, basically, why not long gold, if anything, if any trade, as opposed to the bearish call? Well, I mean, I suppose if
I'm
you're
not
long the
saying that
dollar,
long gold won't work. All I'm saying is that's not a trade. Again, that's not a trade that I can do. I was trading long gold a while back, but have been out for quite a while, and now I can only look to be shorting gold, which again doesn't mean that it has to go down. I haven't really, other than trying to intraday short it a couple of times and getting stopped or getting out. I'm not shorting it yet. But people are just positioned too long now, and people are too bullish now. So I can't, and that doesn't make them wrong. It will make them wrong eventually. I'm just sitting here patiently waiting to get shorted. That's the only trade I can do based on
yeah,
how I trade. You know what I mean? I
the
can't
more
be I can't be long gold here. That's a trend follower trade.
right,
I am not a trend follower. I am here
yeah.
my clients to catch the turns in the trend so that when their trend following gets smacked, I help them. That's my job. So my job is not to be
Do
long gold here. My job is to find where the short is on gold here.
you think your recent long here in the Dow was kind of a mid swim or late stage of your initial thesis from like the start of the year?
It's really the same trade. I mean, what happened with me was I
Yeah,
got long NASDAQ, and then I got out, my NASDAQ stuff got out, and I got long Dow. And then at some point I switched to the S&P because my system's long both of them, but I'm not going to be long both of them because it's the same trade, right? So I just picked the
right.
S&P. I got stopped on the S&P, and when that happened, I ended up just getting back into the Dow. Now that I'm not in both, I wanted to get back in the Dow, right? Which I did, and now I'm getting stopped, and I'm going to take a vacation. I don't know.
Nice, man. Well, all right.
It's
Well,
funny because
enjoy
last night I was
Spain.
watching this stuff, and like I'm thinking all these banks were crashing after hours, and the S&P was
Yeah,
down 20 points, and I'm like, down 20 points, and suddenly it was down 15 points, and suddenly it was down 5 points, and suddenly it was flat. I'm like, okay, the market is either giving you the greatest gift of all time to get short here, which I don't believe the market does, or I'm going to wake up in the morning and the Dow's going to be up 500 points. Well, it looks like it turned out the market was actually giving you the greatest gift of all time, because you should have gotten short there. Could have gotten short the S&P last night, up on the day.
yeah. That's what we're
I'm
doing
not one that
here.
fights the tape like that, so that's not my trade. But whoever did, there are times when my shit works, you know, and there are times when being a macro fundamental trader works, right?
Yeah,
Um, and that's what portfolios are all about. But I mean, like, I can't understand if the macro guys aren't crushing it right now, then what the hell, man? You know what I mean? They should be short all of the banks.
but the thing is, the macro guys are not all the rhetoric I hear from the macro guys is that it's bearish, bearish, bearish.
Yeah, no, they're not
Well,
crushing it. And that while I was crushing it, they were clearly not be crushing it. But I'm talking about right now,
yeah, right.
today,
Yeah,
this week, they should be crushing it because the market's doing what it should be doing if you're looking at fundamentals.
right. Yeah, but they would have been absolutely bleeding out for the
Bleeding out,
last 4 weeks.
bleeding
Like,
out the whole
yeah,
year,
I
truthfully,
I
right? The
don't know
whole
how
year.
they could afford to hold positions on the last 4 weeks with that
That's
macro view.
that's kind of a good point. Yeah. It's just
I
like that
mean,
whole big
no matter what
short
your book
thing.
size.
No, you know what? It's just like the big short thing. They talk about these guys that made all that money, in the big short, right? But again, I joined this hedge fund in 2007, and every fundamental macro guy I knew that the housing market was ridiculous, but they couldn't hold. You had to hold through all through 2006, 2007, 2008, and then you made a
Ah,
shitload of money.
crazy.
But most people couldn't hold that. That they don't talk about how the guy from the Big Short was losing a shitload of money all those years. And then
Yeah,
finally, okay, boom, right? But you have to have the
that's
clientele that's willing to let you sit and hold that shit.
yeah. Well, I don't know how many clients would be happy with that sort of an offside position, and I certainly from any hedge fund
Not very
I
many.
know You would be, well, from the trading firms that I've worked with. There is no way in hell you could like hold a position like that. No way, no way, no way. They want you one and done in the same session. Like a
No,
lot
that's
of
right. So most people cannot hold that shit. That's the point,
no,
right?
unless you're like you've sold the high on day and the thing is closing on the lows. You're not
Right.
taking that position home overnight in a firm. That's my
Not in those
experience.
type of
No
firms. I mean,
fucking way.
in a macro firm, in a hedge fund firm, you can, but how much pain can you take? That's the whole thing. How much pain are they going to allow you to take, right? And how much pain are the clients going to allow you to take? And this prick that started that firm that he left Millennium, Exodus Point, and I've met that guy a number of times, and he's a fucking prick. He couldn't take any pain. He fired all of his fucking long short equity guys this year.
Right.
So now this will happen, and he won't benefit at all, right? These guys never understand for whatever reason. I'm lucky that I have found a handful of clients that get it, but
Western Alliance limit down 45.25 in the red.
yeah, we're going through
Second one this week.
we're going through hell here, man.
They long the bonds.
We're
They
going through
long the
hell. And
bonds.
I now have nothing on. I was stopped. So I am sitting
Right.
here completely fucking flat and watching the world explode, and that's okay with me. You know what I mean? Let it explode. I don't, this is my job is not to catch this. This is the macro guy's job to catch, right? My job, I
Sure.
feel like I did. My job was to catch the first part of this year, what the market did. I have to catch those, and I did. So now my job is to not lose money while they make money. That's how I see what I do, right? Don't lose when they make when they lose.
You know what's interesting about this move right now is the dollar is flat in the session. It's boost down 1%, down 1.1, Nasdaq down 0.7.
Yeah,
The
because the
dollar is
euro's
flat.
getting the euro's having a little bit
Yeah.
of a bash fest here.
Well, it's negative 0.3 in the day. So
Let's see. Oh yeah, it's
yeah,
coming back. Yeah, it looked like it's coming.
maybe de-dollarization. I mean, look, I don't know. I've been in the market, futures market for 7, 8 years now. The amount of times I've heard about the demise of the dollar, you know, maybe 5 major times, probably at least once a year, they come out of the woodwork saying the dollar's going to be dust. But there's something about this time that feels just a little bit different.
Yeah, the fact that every fucking bank in the United States of America is going to be out of business in fucking 3 days. I mean, and they're going to have to print a whole fucking shitload of money when they can't afford to print a shitload of money. That's what feels different, I think. This could be it, man. You know what I mean? And it's going to be sad if it is, because I'm going to miss it because I can't be short. But okay,
When's your holiday? When are you scheduled to go?
June 12th.
Oh, okay. Maybe you won't miss it. It's going to happen.
Well, I ain't gonna be able to be short, so I'm gonna fucking miss it.
Per was the macro situation with China. I don't really know if that's coming into the play here, but yeah, I think the wheels are coming off the bus as we're speaking right now. The Fed's basically the market's pricing in two things: no cuts this year, as Jerome said so, and the Fed are done hiking. And actually, where we got the idea of the markets will come off hard is from you, man. And the
Yeah,
markets are, yeah, and
sure. They always
they
listen to
paused.
me. That's for sure.
Well, all right. We're going to let you go and enjoy your holiday. And if the wheels do actually come off the bus, I'll get shit. I'll bring you a link and we can watch Rome burning live and talk about it. But I don't know,
Yeah,
3 days.
that'd
We
be
could be
good, man.
talking again
I'm
Monday.
watching it from the countryside, so although my daughter is in New York City, but
Same here, man.
other than that, I'm watching it from the countryside. Let them burn. I don't fucking care. This whole
Most
San
exciting things that
Francisco thing
happen
makes
around
me
here is
crack up. Like I could give a
right.
shit about San Francisco, man. The whole place should fall into the sea for all I give a shit. Everybody I know from San Francisco is a fucking asshole. High
Tell us how
tech,
you really feel,
tech.
man. Tell us how
Yeah,
you
well, you
really
know how
feel.
these guys are, man. These like cocky as shit, freaking tech boys. You know what I mean? All freaking
Yeah.
Stanford and all that shit. Get the fuck out of here. You know, I freaked out. I popped my eyeball. I freaked out so badly when that one guy came out and when the Silicon Valley Bank thing happened, and the one guy came out and was like telling people they should give money because these people can't make payroll. And I'm like, you fucking give money, asshole. Like, you fucking give money. You give money. You got $1 billion that you scammed out of this whole thing, right? Never have had a company that's ever made money, and you're a billionaire. And now you're
Right.
asking
Yeah.
other people to give money so that your companies can make payroll to help the poor employees. Fuck, like
They're
what?
trade they're trading on like 50 times multiples
Yeah, exactly. I'm
in
like,
the
here's what
stock
you do, man.
market.
Just let them try to eat on their, give them some more, stock options, dude. Let them try to eat on that. How about that? Fucking assholes.
Yeah.
So anyway, that whole city can fall into the ocean for all I care. And the whole rest of them too. They can all fall into the ocean for all I care.
Gonna have to get you booked in for a party sometime soon.
Right? The cheerful guy. The feel good, Mr. Feel Good. Dr.
I
Feel
tell you
Good.
what, I totally agree with everything you're saying, man. I just get turned cheerful when I'm making money out of the downside, and we're happy. It's happening today, so we're doing good here. All right. Well, surely you're going to have to put Dublin on the or Ireland on the travel itinerary for 2023 at some point,
At
especially if
some point, I have to get there because my wife
the
wants to
tech
see the
bros are
home.
going to invade
My wife
your
wants to see
quiet
the
town.
home country at some point. So at some point I am going to have to get there. We really thought that this was going to be the one because one of his stops is it was Northern Ireland. Yeah, I think he's stopping in Belfast for like 3 days.
Oh, you
Um,
don't want to go to Belfast. You don't want
well, I mean, I would go and see him for 2 days, and then we would get in a car and we'd travel the whole country.
to. Yeah.
But it just didn't work because she didn't have off from her job for the period that he was there. So we went the other way. But at some point, I will be getting there. Hopefully, maybe next spring or summer is probably when it will be. I assume summertime
Fantastic.
is the time to visit that country,
Yeah.
the Green Isle.
Yeah. May through August. Perfect.
Yeah, all right. Well,
Yeah.
probably next summer
All right.
if
I
I'm
look forward
alive.
to it.
If I'm alive, and if they are allowing people to get on airplanes out of the country still.
I'll put money on it. I'll put money on it. All
All
right.
right, cool, man.
Take it easy.
I
Talk
will
to you
talk to
later.
you soon.
Thanks for chatting.
Yep.
Bye bye.